I'm also being joined right now at this point by P Rawat, former Election Commissioner of India, R.S. Pathania, who's a spokesperson for BJP, as well as Sulaiman Mohammed Khan, the spokesperson for Congress. Thank you very much, all three of you, for joining me, and thank you for your patience even as we were interviewing your predecessor. But Mr. P Rawat, to you first. How do you look at this petition which is before the court? There have been so many sides to this. One is the independence of executive from judiciary. Two is a lot of concerns that have come in over what seems to be not so impartial election commission, the allegations around it. How do you look at this?
Actually, Honorable Supreme Court will take a view on the petition because ADR has been always pushing for democratic reforms, especially concerning elections. And most of these decisions in the matters of selection of election commissioners also came around through their action. Otherwise, if you look at it from a different angle, not from the angle of a petition pending in the Supreme Court, then our constitutional scheme is that Parliament has to enact a law. Supreme Court wanted that you should enact a law, and till you enact this law for providing for selection of election commissioners, you will have selection through this committee where Prime Minister, CJI and Leader of Opposition will be the members. So government will be doing everything as per Honorable Supreme Court's order. They made the law and they are following that law to select 2 election commissioners for the existing vacancies. So looking at the whole thing from this perspective.
P Rawat, before this law, just before I go to the others, before this law was passed in the Parliament, this was just in 2023 for that matter, towards the end of 2023. What was the precedence before that, if you can tell our viewers about that? And that's also important to understand the political context.
For last 70 years, all the election commissioners and chief election commissioners were appointed by the executive. They were shortlisting, they were recommending to the president, and president was agreeing and appointing. And Honorable Supreme Court also observed in 2017 that although the Parliament has not enacted a law to provide for selection of election commissioners and CECs as stipulated in Article 324, we note with pleasure that so far all those appointees, CECs and ECs, have delivered absolutely free, fair and credible elections time and again. So that is quite satisfying.
Okay. Allow me, sir, to get the introductory remarks from others as well. Sorry for interrupting you. Let me just get in the introductory remarks. Sulaiman Mohammed Khan, what are your concerns? What are the objections of the party? There have been a lot of concerns that have been reiterated time and again over the past several months, for that matter. How are you, what is right now? What is the principal concern?
Everyone knows that, this election commission has to be independent because the elections have to be free and fair. Now, this is the base or the edifice of the democracy on which our constitutional democracy is actually standing. Now, election to the parliament, to the state legislature, to vice president, president's post are being conducted by CEC and the other election commissioners. Now, the question is, when Supreme Court has suggested that the panel to be independent, and it was also discussed in the parliamentary constituent assembly debates way back when the constitution was framed, and Dr. Ambedkar was of the view that for a healthy democracy or for the elections to be free and fair, it has to be kept out of the ambit of the executive pressure. The selection of the election commissioners and the chief election commissioner has to be completely independent. Now, post that, in 2015, the Law Commission has given its report, which says that the panel, for the selection panel, for the selection of chief election commissioner and election commissioner has to be the Prime Minister, the Leader of Opposition, the Lok Sabha, and the Chief Justice. This is the Law Commission report in 2015. Post that, very recently in 2023, in Anup Baranwal's case, the same has been reiterated by the Supreme Court's constitutional bench. Now, what the government has to do?